وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض ولا يؤوده حفظهما وهو العلي العظيم.
Changes in the endings of verbs and nouns. Changes in the endings, that is ending letters or ending harakats of verbs and nouns. As long as verbs are concerned, the change is only in fi'l mudari. We already know yaf'alu, yaf'aluna, taf'alu, taf'aluna, af'alu, naf'alu. This is the standard form. And this is called marfu'. You don't have to worry about these terms. Just remember that this is the standard form. Now, there are two types of words which, kind of change the ending of fi'l mudari. These words are, let's call them hammer words and chopper words. These are not grammatical terms, by the way. We are introducing it for you. So these are hammer words or chopper words. So let's take hammer words. When yaf'alu, yaf'aluna, taf'alu, taf'aluna, af'alu, naf'alu is preceded by an or lan or fa, which shows the result of a condition or a situation, and li, and so on, then this yaf'alu becomes yaf'ala. So why am I calling them hammer words like an and lan? These are hammers. Why? Because they kind of, just flatten the u and make it a. Flatten the u and make it a. So yaf'alu becomes yaf'ala. And yaf'aluna, so the ending noun is flattened by this hammer and becomes alif. So yaf'alu. An yaf'ala, an yaf'alu. Similarly, an taf'ala, an taf'alu. An af'ala, an naf'ala. So these are hammer words. Can we repeat this? An yaf'ala, أن يفعلوا أن يفعلوا أن يفعلوا أن تفعل أن تفعل أن تفعلوا أن تفعلوا أن أفعل أن أفعل أن نفعل أن نفعل. These are hammer words. Just it makes a throughout, and if it is noon, it is dropped. The second type of words are chopper words. They'll work like choppers. They are grammatically called huruf jazima, but let us call them chopper just for ease of remembrance. Lam, lamma, and other conditional words make a change to the ending of yaf'alu, yaf'aluna, taf'alu, taf'alu, taf'aluna, af'alu, naf'alu. What they do is they just chop the dhamma, the pesh, the dhamma, and make it sukoon. Instead of yaf'alu, it becomes lam yaf'al. Similarly, yaf'aluna, noon is chopped and you just have alif there, yaf'alu. Lam taf'al, lam taf'alu. Lam af'al, lam naf'al. As far as yaf'aluna and taf'aluna is concerned, both hammers and choppers make it yaf'alu, taf'alu. Let us practice these chopper words. Lam yaf'al,
لم يفعل
لم يفعلوا
لم يفعلوا
لم تفعل
لم تفعل
لم تفعلوا
لم تفعلوا
لم أفعل
لم أفعل
لم نفعل.
لم نفعل.
That's all. You don't have to make a big issue out of it. The yaf'al, the only as far as fi'l mudari, the rest is same. Fa'ala, fa'alu, fa'alta. There is no change in these forms. Only in yaf'alu, yaf'alun, taf'alu, taf'alun, af'alu, naf'alu, and of course taf'alu and the associated feminine forms. The change is in the endings. There are hammer words like lan and an, and there are chopper words like lam and lamma. So that hammer makes it yaf'ala, yaf'alu, and chopper makes it yaf'al, yaf'alu. And the same effect continues. Now let's talk about the changes in the endings of nouns. As an example, you can ask, why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala use Allahu sometimes in the Quran and Allaha or Allahi other times? Grammar has the answer. In fact, grammar is compiled from the Quran itself, looking and studying the Quran. So let's take examples and the situation will be clear. خَلَقَ اللَّهُ الْأَرْضَ. Allah created the earth. ittaqullaha, fear Allah. Bismillahi, in the name of Allah. What's happening in the first is, this is a verbal sentence, and Allah is the creator, the doer, fa'il, the one who does, the subject. When a noun comes as a subject, generally it is raised, Allahu. Okay, rafa is raising, or it is who. And when it comes as an object, like ittaqullaha, fear who? Allah. So Allah is object here in this sentence. So it is, object takes a form. And when it is with a preposition, for example, bi and ismu, bismi, or ismullahi, to show the possession, like name of Allah. So when it comes as a possession or with a preposition, then it is e. That's all. So let us take these cases in little details. These are called rafa, nasab, and jar. Rafa, is like raised u, and nasab is a, and jar is e state. So muslimun, we have either muslimun in rafa, and the plural is muslimun. Nasab is musliman, and jar is muslimin. And the plural of musliman and muslimin is muslimina. And if you add al there to make it specific, the Muslim, al muslimu, un will drop, the ending un, al muslim, muslimun, un will drop and will become al muslimu, al muslima, al muslimi. And the plural is al muslimuna, and the rest too is al muslimina. In rafa and nasab and jar, if you take the feminine forms, it will be muslimatun, muslimatan, muslimatin, and the plurals are muslimatun, and the next two are same, muslimatin, muslimatin. And if you make it specific, al muslimatu, al muslimata, al muslimati, and the plurals are al muslimatu, al muslimati, al muslimati. And now you know why there are two plurals for masculine forms. So plural of Muslim is muslimuna, muslimina. So when it is used as subject, it will be muslimuna. When they are used as object, then it is muslimina, or with preposition, it is muslimina. Whereas for muslimatun, we have just one plural, muslimat, but it will take either muslimatun or muslimatin. Again, other examples are, we have huwa muslimun, he is a Muslim. In this nominal sentence, simple sentence, again everything will be rafa, and the plural is hum muslimuna. Whereas in when Muslim comes as an object, ra'aytu musliman, I saw a Muslim. So muslimun will become musliman, or ra'aytu muslimina, I saw Muslims. Or with jar, with preposition, we have min muslimin, from Muslim, because there is a min, so it will become muslimin, or baytul muslimi, baytul muslimi, the house of the Muslim. Then it is e, and min muslimina or baytul muslimina. The same goes for feminine forms. Hiya muslimatun, hunna muslimatun, ra'aytu muslimatan, ra'aytu muslimatin, min muslimatin, min muslimatin, or baytul muslimati, baytul muslimati. So we have on and in nouns. On is when it is subject or simple nominal sentence. An is when it comes as an object, and many other cases. And in is when it is preceded by a preposition or it shows the ownership. So when you show ownership, you have to be humble, like Baitul Muslimi, the house of a Muslim. So it is E. Now let's take examples of marfu' asma in what we have studied so far, in the surahs that we have studied. For example, in Surah Al-Fatiha, we have Alhamdu Lillahi Rabbil Alameen. Similarly, in Surah Al-Fil, we have Alam Tara Kayfa Fa'ala Rabbuka. Fa'ala Rabbuka. Rabbu is the subject. Who did that? Rabb did it. So Fa'ala Rabbu. So it is rafa. Similarly, in a simple nominal sentence, we have fawailun lil musallin. Wailun lil musallin. Similarly, we have inna shaniyaka huwal abtaru. Huwal abtaru. A simple sentence, he is cut off. Huwa al abtaru. Okay, it's not abtara. Similarly, in a verbal sentence, the jaa nasrullahi wal fathu. So who is the subject? Who is coming here? The help. So nasru. It will not be idha jaa nasrillahi, idha jaa nasrallahi. No, idha jaa nasrullahi. It is a subject. Similarly, al fathu also is a subject. So that's why we have wal fathu. In Surah Lahab, we have ma aghna anhu maluhu. What did not avail him? His wealth. So subject is wealth. Maluhu. Similarly, who will enter the fire? Wamra'atuhu. Okay, wamra'atuhu. Or fi jidiya hablun. What is there in her neck? Hablun. Similarly, we have other examples in Surah Al-Ikhlas. We have Huwallahu Ahadun, Allahu Samadu. Okay, and similarly in Ayat Al-Kursi we have Al-Hayyu, Al-Qayyumu. La ta'khudhuhu, doesn't catch him what? Sinatun, wala naumun. These are all, the subjects. So wasi'a kursiyyu, subject here is kursi, or wala ya'uduhu hifdhu. What does not make him tired? Hifdhu, the protection or guarding it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't make the guarding or the protection, does not make him tired. So again the subject here is hifdhu. Or in a simple nominal sentence, wa huwa al-aliyyu al-azimu, and so on. The mansub asma, as far as the mansub are concerned, as an object we have ihdina sirata, guide us to the straight path. So sirata is object, that's why we have a. And also this mansub or nasb form are followed by inna, so we have innal insana. Similarly in Surah Al-Fil, alam yaj'al kaidahum. Yaj'al, did he not make? What is the object here? Kaida, their plot. Similarly in Surah Quraysh, فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ. So let them worship what? Object? Rabba. Yadu' in Surah Al-Ma'un, yadu'u al-yatima. He pushes who? The object is yatim, so yatima. Inna a'tainaka al-kawthara. What did we give you? Al-kawthara. The object is kawthara. Followed by inna shani'a. Always the noun following inna is a. Inna shani'a. وَرَأَيْتَ النَّاسَ in Surah An-Nasr, what did you see? An-Nasa. And so on. You can just think about these as you recite. Similarly, huruf jar are very common, extensive, starting from Surah Al-Fatiha or starting from Ta'awudh. We have A'udhu Billahi. B. It's not Billaha, Billahu, Billahi. Because Allah is preceded by the jar, the preposition bi. Similarly, minash shaitani, min makes shaitan e. It is not minash shaitana, minash shaitanu. Similarly, ismullahi, but b makes it bismi. Alhamdulillahi, li makes it lillahi. It makes it e. It's not lillaha, lillahu. There are many examples of jar. Just keep thinking and keep observing these min, an, ma'a, bi, fi. Ma'a also makes it jar, but it's not ma'a also makes it majroor. It's not harf jar, it's not preposition, but there are other particles also which make it majroor. So look at these fi, min, ala, ila, bi, and an, and they all make the following noun e. This is Baytullah, house of Allah. The house of Allah. How do you say it? Baytullahi. In this lesson we will take mudaf, mudaf ilay. Baytu, the house, Allahi, of Allah. The house of Allah. Baytullahi. So for bayt you have to put dhamma u, and for Allah, the word Allah, you have to put e. Then the meaning becomes house of Allah. The same rule applies for names. This is the simple. Take simple examples like Abdullahi, the slave of Allah. Abdul Rahmani, the slave of the most gracious. Or Abdul Azizi, or Abdul Rahimi, Abdul Salami, Nasirud Dini. Baytullahi, Da'watur Rasuli, the call of messenger. Da'watur Rasuli, the call of messenger. Khalqullahi, the creation of Allah. So for the first word you put U, and the second word you put E. That's mudaf mudaf ilayh to show the possession. Khalqullahi, the creation of Allah. Rabbun Nasi, Rabbun Nasi, the Rabb, the Lord of the people. Qawmu Hudin, the nation of Hud alayhi salam. See, you don't say Qawmul Hudi. Why? Because Hud itself is a specific name. So we say Qawmu Hudin, the people of Hud alayhi salam. Hukmul Qur'ani, the command of the Quran. So by studying these, I'm sure now you know how to show possession in Arabic. You put on the first word U and the second word E. This is a simple rule. We can know the details later on. Sometimes you can have double mudaf. So Maliku Yomi, meaning master of the day, and you have Yawmuddini, the day of judgment. So when you combine the two like a mathematical equation, Yawmu will become Yomi. So Maliku Yawmiddini, master of the day of judgment. So you may ask why it is Maliki Yawmiddin. Well, that Maliki is because, Alhamdulillahi Rabbi Ar-Rahmani Ar-Rahimi Maliki, that li is affecting, the preposition is affecting all the nouns. Sometimes mudaf ilayh is preceded by prepositions. For example, Ismullahi, the name of Allah. Ismullahi, the name of Allah. You add, if you say Bismillah, you add B there, or precede, you put B before that, then it will become Bismillah. Similarly, Deenullahi, the deen of Allah. You put Fi before that, it will become Fi Deenillahi. Ashabul Fili, the companions of the elephant. If you put B before that, it will become Bi Ashabil Fili. Also note that Rabbuhu, Rabbuhum, Rabbuka, Rabbukum, Rabbi, Rabbuna, all those words, or Deenuhu, Deenuhum, Deenuka, Deenukum, Deeni, Deenuna, Kitabuhu, Kitabuhum, Kitabuka, all these are mudaf ilayh. Rabbuhu, his Rabb. No, Rabbuhum, their Rabb. It shows possession. The Kitabuhu, his book. Kitabuhum, their book. So, instead of, for example, Rabbul Abdi, the Lord of the slave, we can have Rabbuhu, his Rabb, or Kitabu Waladin, the book of a kid or of a child, we can say Kitabuhu. So when pronouns are there, hu, hum, ka, kum, ina, that also is kind of mudaf ilayh. When you have noun and pronoun. Well, this Rabbuhu, Rabbuhum can come as objects like Rabba. When these nouns, Rabb, Deen and Kitab come as objects, then you will have Rabbahu, Rabbahum, Rabbaka, Rabbakum, Rabbi, Rabbuna, Rabbana, and Deenahu, Deenahum, and so on. Similarly, if they are preceded by a preposition, then it will become Rabbihi, Rabbihim, Rabbika, Rabbikum, Rabbi, Rabbina, Deenihi, Deenihim, and so on. Let us practice mudaf ilayh, or look for these occurrences in the surahs that we have studied. The best way to analyze grammar and learn grammar is to check these rules in what you have studied so far. So in Surah Al-Fatiha, last 10 surahs and parts of Surah Al-Baqarah, the Ayatul Kursi, and the ending of Baqarah, ending of Hashr, just as you recite these and as you recite the du'as, just check where is mudaf ilayh. So as an example, we said Bismillahi. So it was Ismullahi, it was preceded by B, it became Bismillahi. Similarly, Rabbul Alamina, the Lord of the worlds, but because li is affecting lillahi, so it is affecting Rabb also, it became Rabbil Alameen. We studied Maliki Yawmiddin earlier. Similarly, in Suratul Fil, we have Rabbuka. We studied that, Rabbuhu, Rabbuhum, all these are mudaf, mudaf ilayh. We also studied Ashabil Fili. Similarly, Kaidahum, their plot, Rabbuka, Kaidahum, Dinuhum, Kitabuhum, all these are mudaf, mudaf ilayh. Similarly, we have Ilafu Quraishin. Ilafu Quraishin, but it is preceded by li, so it became li ilafi Quraishin. We have Rihlatu Shita'i, journey of winter, but because it is an object, it became Rihlata, Rihlata Shita'i. Rabb Hadal Baiti, or Ta'amil Miskini, it is Ta'amul Miskini, but because it is preceded by preposition ala, it became Ala Ta'amil Miskini. We have similarly Rabbika or Shani'aka, or in Kafirun we have Dinukum, Dini. Similarly in Surah An-Nasr we have Nasrullahi, the help of Allah, Wal Fathu, and victory. Similarly we have Dinullahi, but because we have fi there, so it became fi dinillahi. Similarly Rabbuka, but because it is preceded by hamdi or hamdu rabbika, because it is hamdu rabbika, that's why it is Rabbuka has become Rabbika. We have similar examples that you can study in different surahs. Let us go to the second part, which is Mawsuf wa Sifa, adjective. Sifa is adjective. How do you mention an adjective in Arabic? Just study the examples and things will be clear. We have Baytun Kabirun. Baytun is house, Kabirun is big. So first you mention what you're talking about. First you mention the object, house, and then talk about its attribute. This is the way you do it in Arabic. You first talk about the object first. What are you talking about? The house. Okay, fine. Is it big, small, what? You mention it later on. Baytun Kabirun. This sifa, the kabir part, the second part, which describes what the object is, how the object is, has to match in 4 areas. First of all, it should match the number. So if you say Muslimun Sadiqun, a true Muslim, then if Muslim is singular, then you have to have Sadiq. But if you say Muslimuna, then you have to have plural adjective, which is Sadiqun, plural sifa, Sadiqun. Or it should match the specifics also, like if you have al there, al muslimu, then you have to have as-sadiqu, or al muslimuna, as-sadiquna. So it should match the specifics, whether it is general or specific. Similarly, it should match the gender. If you are talking about muslimatun, you should say sadiqatun, or al muslimatu, as-sadiqatu, or muslimatun, sadiqatun, al muslimatu, as-sadiqatu. And lastly, it should match the case. That is, whether it is in an, in, whichever form it is, it should match. So if you say baytun, then you should say kabirun. If you say baytan, then you should say kabiran. If it is baytin, it should be kabirin. Baytun kabirun, a big house. I saw a big house. Ra'aytu baytan kabiran. Because object is always in an form, the nasab form. Okay, so ra'aytu baytan kabiran. But if baytun kabirun is preceded by a preposition fi, the fi will make it in. You know that bismillahi a'udhu billahi minash shaitani lillahi. So fi baytin. It's not fi baytan or fi baytun. Fi baytin kabirin. So it should match the case. So if it is baytin, it should be kabirin. And if it is specific also, al baytul kabiru, ra'aytul baytal kabira, fil baytil kabiri. So everything, if it is al, then this should be al. If it is on, this should be on, an, in, singular, plural. I mean singular, and if it is masculine, it should be masculine, feminine. The sifa, the adjective that you are using, should match in all these areas. So let us remember these three sentences. Baytullahi, meaning house of Allah. Baytun kabirun, house big, a big house. And the third sentence, which you will study later on in more details, is Al-Baytu kabirun, the house is big. So if you skip al there in the second one, then it becomes the house is big. But if you say Al-Baytul Kabir, it becomes the big house. Al-Baytul Kabir is big house. Let us check these forms in the surahs that we have studied so far. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. الشيطان الرجيم. You see e. At the end we have al in the beginning and you have e in the end. الشيطاني الرجيم. Similarly الرحمن الرحيم or الله الرحمن. الصراط المستقيم. Al is matching, a is matching at the ends. الصراط المستقيم. Similarly طيرا أبابيل or عصف مأكول or القوم الكافرين. القوم الكافرين. And you have these matching in the last of Surah Al-Hashr. هو الرحمن الرحيم الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز. So all these sifa are matching in those four cases. You can study more from what we have studied earlier. I mean the surahs that we have studied. There are two types of sentences in Arabic. Those starting with noun and the others starting with a verb. Starting with a noun or starting with a verb. These are two types of sentences in Arabic. So let's take the first one. Those that start with a noun. They are called nominal sentences, or in singular form nominal sentence, jumla ismiya. Nominal sentence, jumla ismiya. Ism is noun, ismiya nominal. Jumla is sentence, jumla ismiya nominal sentence. The nominal sentence is like al-baytu kabirun. The house is big. The first word is called mubtada. We start with that. And the second one is called khabar. It gives news about the bayt. Al-bayt, the house. So what about it? It's kabir. It's big. Similarly, another very good example is Allahu khaliqun. Allah is creator. By the way, both mubtada and khabar in simple sentences, both words are always in rafa position, position. So let's take some more examples. Muhammadun Nabiyyun. Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is a prophet. Al-Muslimu Sadiqun. The Muslim is truthful. Al-Muslimatu Sadiqatun. The Muslimah is truthful. Al-Muslimuna Sadiquna. So here you see, if it is singular, then the khabar is also singular, the second word. If it is feminine, that is also feminine. If it is plural, the khabar is also plural. Let us take some examples of jumla ismiya in what we have studied so far. Alhamdu lillahi. Alhamdu, all praise. Lillahi, for Allah. Wherever there is preposition in khabar or any other part, you just relax. Just say that preposition means the following noun will always have e. You don't have to worry about those rafa, nasab, jar, anything. Just it's always jar. Alhamdu, all praise. Lillahi, li Allah, so it will become lillahi. Similarly, in Surah Al-Ma'un, fawailun, wailun lil musallin. Here also preposition is there, so it is in jar majroor position. It's instead of musallun, it is musallin. Lil musallin. Wailun lil musallin. Antum abidun. You are worshippers. Are wala antum abidun. Similarly, wala ana abidun. In Surah Al-Ikhlas we have huwa Allahu. He is Allah. Or Allahu ahadun. Allah is one. Or huwa Allahu ahadun. Allahu as-samadu. Allah is self-sufficient. Allah is self-sufficient. Similarly, in Ayat al-Kursi, at the end we have wa huwa al-aliyyu al-azimu. And in Surah, in the ending verses of Surah Al-Hashr, you have like huwa ar-Rahmanu ar-Rahimu, huwa Allahu, wa huwa al-Azizu, wa huwa al-Azizu al-Hakimu, and so on. You can always, analyze and check those verses which you are familiar with, which you have memorized, and inshallah these rules will be more and more clear or clearer. Let's take verbal sentence. The sentences that start or begin with a verb. Fi'l is verb, so these sentences or this type of sentence is called jumla fi'liya. Jumla fi'liya. And as a reference, remember this sentence. Khalaqallahu al-arda. Khalaqa is verb. Allahu is fa'il, the one who does it. He is the subject. So Allahu, subject always is in rafa position, position. And what is object? Al-arda, the earth. So object is, it's called maf'ul bihi. It's always in nasb position, a. So fa'il is and object is a. Subject is object is a. And with preposition we have e. Like we have khalaqallahu al-arda fi sittati ayyamin, in 6 days. But anyway, just for this verbal sentence, remember this example. Khalaqallahu al-arda, created Allah the earth. The Arabic sentence here starts with a verb. Another example is qara'a hamidun qur'anan. Qara'a, read. Who? Hamid. So we will have to say, for Hamid we have to use rafa, Hamidun. And what did he read? Al-Qur'ana. Qara'a Hamidun Al-Qur'ana. The Quran. Similarly, we have Anzalna al-Qur'ana. We reveal the Quran. Now here the subject is included in the verb. Anzalna. We have revealed. So subject is included in the verb, so you don't see it. Anzalna, we revealed Al-Qur'ana, the Quran. Sometimes even the object is also included in the same one word. Anzalnahu, we revealed it. Anzalnahu. So anzalna, the subject is included there. We revealed. Who is object? Who is object? Now we have studied this pronouns as object earlier, like khalaqahu, Allah created, He created him. Khalaqahum, khalaqaka, khalaqakum, khalaqani, khalaqana. So who, whom, ka, kum, i, na, these pronouns, whenever they come with a verb, they become objects. They become objects. Like in this example. Examples of jumla fi'liya can be, you can study from whatever you have memorized so far and analyze these sentences. But as a note, I would like to say that whenever there is a preposition after the verb, whenever there is a preposition after the verb for whatever reason, you don't have to worry about its ending, whether it is, will it be u or a, because it will always be e, or majroor, it will always be majroor. Like a'udhu billahi, a'udhu, I seek refuge. Bi, see, followed by that is bi. So billahi minash shaitani ar-rajimi. Ihdina, guide, ihdi, guide, na is object, okay, na, us, and as-sirata is second object. As-sirata is second object. So ihdina as-sirata, guide us the path, guide us the path. Similarly, amanu, they believed. That itself is a, you can say, a sentence. Amilu, they acted, but then we have the object there. Amilu what? As-salihati. They did what? Righteous deeds. So as-salihati is object. Amilu, they did. So amilu means they did. Similarly, tawasaw, they advised each other. Bil haqqi. So once you have the preposition there, don't worry about anything. Haqq will become e. Bil haqqi. Wa tawasaw bil haqqi. Similarly, wa tawasaw bis sabri. So whenever there is a preposition after the verb, it will always be majroor, or it will have e at the end of that verb. Similarly, we have fa'ala rabbuka. Fa'ala, he did. Who? Rabbuka. Subject here is Rabb, that's why it is Rabbu. Fa'ala Rabbu. Similarly, alam yaj'al, alam yaj'al, didn't he make? Yaj'al, alam yaj'al, didn't he make? What object is kaid? Their plot. So kaida. Object is kaida. That's why it is a. It's not yaj'al kaidihim or yaj'al kaiduhum. It is kaida hum. Arsala. Arsala, and he sent alayhim, on them. What did he send? Birds. Tayran. It's not tayrun or tayrin. Object is an. Okay, object is an here. Similarly, tarmihim, they strike. Those birds were striking him, them, bihijaratin. So once the preposition is there, so you have bihijaratin. Faja'alahum, thus he made them. Ka'asfin, once preposition is there, you have in there. Ka'asfin, or once this ka letter is there, you have again in. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا, let them worship what? The object is Rabb. So you have Rabba. You have Rabba. أطعمهم, he fed them. أطعمهم, he fed them. من جوع, so preposition is there, don't worry about anything. من جوع وآمنهم من خوف. Similarly, أرأيت, have you seen who? الذي يكذب بالدين. الذي is the object, but you will learn these later on, that these things will not change. أرأيت الذي يكذب, he denies. Yukadhibu, what? He denies deen, but there is a preposition there, be, so you don't worry about that. Be will become, deen will become e, bid-dini. Why I'm saying that is, we earlier we have studied that khalaqallahu al-arda, created Allah the earth. So the object is a, but whenever there is preposition, you don't worry about a case, it will always be e, like majroor. وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. يَحُضُّ, وَلَا يَحُضُّ, and he does not encourage. Again the preposition is there, ala, so ta'ami, ta'am will become ta'ami. Similarly, we have in Surah An-Nasr, إِذَا جَاءَ, who came? Nasru. So Nasr is subject, so Nasru. جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحُ. Another subject is Fath, so it is Fathu. وَرَأَيْتَ, and you see. Ra'aita, you see, so subject you is included in Ra'aita. And who is the object? An-nasa. Who are you seeing at? You're seeing at people, An-nasa. Therefore, it is not An-nasu or An-nasi, it is An-nasa. Khalaqallahu al-arda. Ra'aita an-nasa. Yadkhuluna, they are entering. Again the preposition is there, so don't worry about the condition at the end. Yadkhuluna fi dinillahi. Similarly, we have ma aghna anhu maluhu. He, did not avail him, Abu Lahab, what? His wealth. What is the subject here? Mal. That's why it is malu. Malu. The subject is mal. Maluhu. Also we have a'udhu. I seek refuge, I take refuge. Bi, once the preposition is there, then don't worry about the endings there. Bi Rabbi al-Falaqi and so on. Qul a'udhu bi Rabbi an-Nasi. Similarly, yuwaswisu, he whispers. Alladhi yuwaswisu. Again, fi is there, so fi sudurin nasi. You don't worry about this a conditions there. La ta'khudhuhu sinatun wala nawm. La ta'khudhuhu, does not catch him, does not take him, or does not catch him what? Sinatun. Subject is sina. Sinatun. Wala naumun. So we have it rafa there. Wasi'a kursiyyu. So wasi'a is verb, kursiyyu is the subject. That's why you have u. Similarly, وَلَا يَؤُودُهُ حِفْظُ. حِفْظُ is subject, so it is U. In this part, we will study two families of sisters. Inna and its sisters, Kana and its sisters. Why sisters? Why not brothers? Because these are all kalimat, and kalimat are feminine. So let's take the first group, Inna and its sisters. These are called al-huruf al-mushabbah bil-fi'l, or huruf that are similar to verbs. Why? Because they act like verbs. For example, Inna Allah ghafurur rahim. So when you have inna in the beginning, what happens to the noun after it is in the nasab state, Inna Allah, and the khabar of inna is ghafurun. So it's something similar to verb, like khalaqallahu al-arda. Allah created the earth, or Allah created the earth. Here, inna Allaha ghafurun. Inna Allaha ghafurun. So every word that follows inna, every ism noun that follows inna is in the nasb state, inna Allaha, and the khabar of inna is in rafa state, like ghafurun. Similarly, we have ashhadu anna. I bear witness that anna, and whatever follows anna, look at that, muhammadan, like inna allaha anna muhammadan rasulullahi. Okay, inna allaha ghafurun. Ashhadu anna muhammadan rasulullahi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. That's all. I mean, just these are simple rules. And and inna has its sisters, means there are other words which act in a similar fashion. Inna and anna, we have seen already two of them. The other four are ka'anna, lakinna, layta, la'alla, that are listed here. So inna, anna, ka'anna, lakinna, layta, la'alla, all of these act like inna. And what do? They put nasab on the first ism and rafa on the second one. Inna Allaha ghafurun. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, and so on. Further examples from the Quran are Inna Allaha ghafurun rahim. Inna Allaha wasi'un alimun. Inna Allaha sami'un alimun, and so on. The second category or second family is that of Kana and its sisters. These are called al-af'alun naqisa, that is, verbs that are deficient. Deficient because these verbs do not convey the full meanings or full message. For example, Kana Allahu, Allah is what? The sentence is not complete. So they are deficient. You have to say something more. So ghafuran, Allah is most merciful. Then the sentence is complete now. So just the verb kana is not enough. That's why these are called al-af'alun naqisa. Kana Allahu ghafuran, and they act just like a verbal sentence. The verb in a verbal sentence, like khalaqallahu al-arda. Kana Allahu ghafuran rahiman. Similarly, وَكَانَ اللَّهُ عَلِيمًا حَكِيمًا. مَا كَانَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ يَهُودِيًّا وَلَا نَصْرَانِيًّا. Okay? There are other words that act, other verbs that act similar to kana. These are the sisters of kana. So the family of kana is kana, bata, zala, asbaha, amsa. 5 of them are listed here. Kana, bata, zala, asbaha, amsa. Sometimes we have both of them together in one sentence. For example, Inna Allaha kana aliman hakima. As far as the news or khabar of inna is concerned, its whole sentence, which is made up of kana. Inna Allaha kana aliman hakima. Inna Allaha kana tawwaban rahima. Inna Allah kana ghafuran rahima. Okay. Similarly, innahu kana tawwaba. So kana Allahu tawwaban. So that Allahu is there inside inna or attached to inna. Innahu. Actually, it is kana Allahu tawwaban. So innahu kana tawwaban. Now let us take further examples from what we have studied. Innal insana. After inna, al insan, the noun is insana. It's not innal insanu. It is innal insana. Lafi khusr. Once the preposition or other things come, then preposition overrules all the other rules. Inna Allaha ma'as sabirina. Inna Allaha, not inna Allahi or inna Allahu. Similarly, we have innal muslimina wal muslimati. Why muslimina? Because if it were singular, it would have been innal muslima. Innal muslima. Because after inna you have nasb. The word is in nasb form. Innal muslima. But the plural is innal muslimina. It will not be innal muslimuna. Innal muslimina wal muslimati, not muslimatu. Because inna followed by whenever inna is there, then the next noun is in the nasb position. So now in conclusion of what we have learned so far, remember the first set of three clauses or sentences here, and the next three also. The first set are Baytullahi, the house of Allah. This is mudaf ilayh. Baytun kabirun, a big house. This is mawsuf wa sifa, a big house. And al-baytu kabirun, the house is big. This is jumla ismiya, nominal sentence, simple sentence. Okay, so remember that the set of three, and notice the differences. Notice the difference among each of these. And then the second set of three the second set of three is khalaqallahu al-arda. Allah created the earth. Inna Allaha ghafurun rahim. Inna and its sisters, for inna and its sisters, remember this example. And for kana and its sisters, kana Allahu ghafuran rahima. So khalaqallahu al-arda. Inna Allaha ghafurun rahim. Kana Allahu ghafuran rahima. In the end, I would say Jazakumullah khair. May Allah reward you for continuing to attend the whole course. Jaza, by the way, means reward or recompense, and it occurs more than 100 times in the Quran. So why not learn the full all the forms of jaza also. Jaza means he rewarded. It's jaza is used in the terms of recompense, paying back, penalty. Depends on the context also. So repeat after me. Jaza jazau.
Jaza jazau.
Jazaita jazaitum.
Jazaita jazaitum.
Jazaitu jazaina.
Jazaitu jazaina.
Yajzi yajzuna.
Yajzi yajzuna.
Tajzi tajzuna.
Tajzi tajzuna.
Ajzi najzi.
Ajzi najzi.
Ijzi ijzu.
Ijzi ijzu.
La tajzi la tajzu.
La tajzi la tajzu.
Jazin.
Jazin.
Majziyun.
Majziyun.
Jaza.
Jaza.
Huwa jaza hiya jazat. Huwa yajzi hiya tajzi. Okay. Now you have to teach what you have learned, because the Prophet ﷺ said, the best of you is the one who learns the Quran and teaches it. خَيْرُكُمْ مَنْ تَعَلَّمَ الْقُرْآنَ وَعَلَّمَهُ. Take that as one unit. تَعَلَّمَ الْقُرْآنَ وَعَلَّمَهُ. Those are the best people. That is also one of the explanation of this hadith. That is, you do both things. And if you really want to learn, then teach. Because the best way to learn is to teach. I meet many people who say, well, I will learn it first and I will teach. I would say, if you are really serious in learning, then start teaching. Because whatever you have learned, you can teach. You don't have to interpret the Quran. Just convey the message that has been conveyed to you. And focus on the basic meanings. The Prophet ﷺ said, اقرأوا القرآن فإنه يأتي يوم القيامة شفيعا لأصحابه. Recite Quran, for it will come on the day of judgment as an intercessor for its companions. For those people, companions means those people who recite the Quran, who understand it, who implement it, propagate it, all these. Those are the companions of the Quran. So to realize the the implication of this hadith, just imagine the day of judgment, where God knows how many billions or hundreds of billions of people are there on a flat ground in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and everybody is busy, everybody is worried about himself. As the Quran says, on that day, a person will run away from his father, mother, brother, wife, son, everyone. يَوْمَ يَفِرُّ الْمَرْءُ مِنْ أَخِيهِ وَأُمِّهِ وَأَبِيهِ وَصَاحِبَتِهِ وَبَنِيهِ. He will run away from his brother and his mother, father, all the relatives. At that time, Quran comes to you and tells you, come along with me. I will take you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and recommend for you. Imagine the happiness that a person will have on that day when he will face such a situation. To receive that intercession, let us make the Quran our companion. Let's be the companion of the Quran. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Wassalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
ইসলামিক মিডিয়া বিডি সম্পূর্ণ সহিহ আকীদা ভিত্তিক একটি অনলাইন মিডিয়া। ইসলামের সহি জ্ঞান সবার মাঝে ছড়িয়ে দিয়ে দুনিয়া ও আখিরাতে মহা কল্যাণ অর্জন করাই এই মিডিয়াটির মূল লক্ষ্য। পরিপূর্ণ সহিহ আকীদা ভিত্তিক এই চ্যানেলটি সাবস্ক্রাইব করার জন্য সকলের প্রতি বিশেষ অনুরোধ রইল। আল্লাহ সকলকে উত্তম প্রতিদান দিক এবং আমাদের এই চ্যানেলটিকে কবুল করে নিক, আমিন। আমাদের সাথে যোগাযোগ youtube.com/islamicmediabd17 islamicmediabd17@gmail.com facebook.com/bd.selimhosen youtube.com/selimhosen আলহামদুলিল্লাহ। আল্লাহ সকলকে ভালো রাখুক, সুস্থ রাখুক, পরিপূর্ণ ঈমান এবং আমলের উপর রাখুক, আমিন। আসসালামু আলাইকুম ওয়া রাহমাতুল্লাহ।